Why would you ever want to write more than 20,000 words in 2 days? Some of you may be asking that exact question right now, especially after a recent video where I took the focus off of word counts. It's a valid question, but this time I had a strong reason to do it, and that reason stretches back more than 2 years. You see, in February of 2020, I decided that I finally wanted to go to Japan. I'd saved up 2 weeks vacation from work and was making plans to go in the late spring. But soon, all of those plans came crashing down.
The breaking news, stay at home, that is the order.
South Korea has confirmed close to 1,000 cases of the disease so far. Japan is reporting infections at the same level.
And major U.S. airlines are now canceling its flights.
And over the course of the next 28 months, there was never an option to visit. Until very recently when I started hearing that I may be getting my chance. And so with only 2 weeks to go until my departure, I booked a ticket to leave on October 20th, 2022. However, at this point, I still hadn't even finished writing the first draft of the sequel, and I needed to finish it before I left so I could let the story rest for the 2 weeks while I was gone. So with little time remaining and even less preparation for the trip complete, I decided to see if I could finish writing what was left of the novel in just 2 days. Okay, so it's finally time to get started on these last few days of writing. And I'm going to be writing quite a few scenes per day. I want to make sure that I'm taking what I learned from the previous video. I know what my goal is for the day, and now it's just time to enjoy the process of actually getting to that goal. Not trying to rush through it, not trying to just get it done. Forget about that. I have as much time as I need, and I can spend that time enjoying it as much as I can. Okay, so I'm going to be starting with this one scene from Lucian, and then I have 2 scenes from Pramana. One of them is a reaction scene, however. And then I have 2 more scenes from Ella. The scenes are kind of all over the place right now, but it's going to be this scene from Lucian, and then these 2 from Pramana, and then these 2 from Ella. And it's really nice to be writing an all is lost scene because that shows you just how close I am to finishing this. I mean, I haven't even gotten to that place for all 3 characters yet, but relatively close. So I finished the first 3 scenes that I had to write, and the first one by Lucian actually ended up being more like 2 scenes than just 1, but I finished those, but I still have 2 more to finish before I'm going to take a little bit of a longer break. But I was able to do this whole session actually standing up. My back felt reasonably good. I think I'm going to do the next one like that as well with these next 2 scenes, and I just did some stretches on the ground for my back, so it's feeling relatively good these days, luckily. I really don't want to dictate because I don't want to do the editing, to be quite honest. I don't like having to go through and find all the mistakes. It wears on me. I love the part of like just acting things out and that kind of stuff, but the editing is brutal. I am going to get back into this writing. I've got these 2 last scenes from Ella. Both of them are normal active scenes, but they shouldn't be too long. And one of them is the all is lost. So that is going to be an interesting one to write. So to 704, and I have managed to get to 70,056 words. So I just finished with Ella's 2 scenes, and I was looking over all of the scenes in general, and it's so funny because I write so differently when I'm dictating compared to how I write when I'm writing normally. Normally, I keep things more concise, and I'm focusing on the main parts of the scene and stuff, but when I'm dictating, I think I go more rambling, I go on more tangents. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess I'll see when I'm revising for real. So these scenes were relatively short overall. There were 2 reaction scenes thrown in, so that definitely accounts for some of the shortness, but overall they were not long scenes. I do think in the last scene that I wrote, the all is lost from Ella, I'm going to have to expand things a little bit to create more tension, but I didn't really know how to do it when I was in the process of writing. This is something that I'm learning from a book that I'm making a video on very soon. Basically, it's this concept of when the scene is intense, when the intensity is high, and you want to expand the scene to include more and more showing so that you are really drawing out the tension. So I tried to do that, but I don't think that it worked completely. I'm gonna take a quick break here. I'm actually going to eat breakfast because I changed up my routine a little bit last week and I'm eating a little bit earlier in the day now. So I'm gonna eat some breakfast, I'm gonna read some Mistborn, and I'll be back to write in just a little bit. Okay, so I'm back from my break here and ready to continue writing. And I was just looking at the scenes that I'm going to write, and well, let's just say there's a lot of Lucian here. So first of all, I realized that there was one part of this chapter by Pramana that I forgot, so I'm going to start with that first. Secondly, I am going to be writing this part from Lucian, and basically I just realized that that's including this scene, this backstory scene, this bad guy's closed in scene, and the All is Lost from Lucian. So I might end up splitting that into 2 chapters later on, and then there's one scene, the All is Lost from Pramana. Okay, so I just finished up with these 5 scenes. However, I'm a little bit unsatisfied with them, to be quite honest. And it's not that I'm unsatisfied with the scenes themselves. I think they turned out pretty well. But overall, I feel like I didn't really write that much during this time because some of the scenes I ended up kind of combining. I was looking over them and trying to visualize them, and I realized there wasn't really enough for this many separate scenes between them. So I'm not sure how that's going to affect the pacing for Lucian's story, but I ended up combining them into 1. So it ended up really being more like 2.5 scenes from Lucian instead of 4, and then 1 from Pramana. So I feel a little bit unsatisfied with the amount that I actually accomplished here with the writing today. I mean, I did get to the All is Lost for every single character, which is cool, but I think I still have a little bit more left in the tank for the day. And you know what? I expected today to be some ridiculously hard day of writing. I expected it to be challenging, and so far I feel pretty unchallenged, and instead of being relieved, I'm actually kind of unsatisfied. So what I'm going to do here instead is I'm going to take one more break, and then I'll be back and write a little bit longer. I think I'll knock out 3 to 5 more scenes, and we'll see what I can do here for the day. The first 3 of these scenes are all 1 scene chapters. So I'm going to start with these 3 from Ella, Pramana, and Lucian. And the 2 by Ella and Pramana include the second of the Dark Night of the Soul scenes and the Break Into 2. And then this one with Lucian actually includes quite a few scenes here. So that one includes this Dark Night of the Soul scene, as well as the backstory, Break Into 3, and the first finale scene. So if I end up working on that one, I'm not going to write the Break Into 3 and the finale. I'm just going to write the backstory and the second Dark Night of the Soul. So that is what I would like to finish. It's kind of savage, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it because recently I've been getting pretty tired when I'm trying to write in the evenings. However, we'll see what I can do here. It is a lot of writing potentially. It is 7:17, and I managed to get to 75,865 words. So I managed to write 8,665 words, and I managed to get 1,316 words per hour. So I am actually pretty tired, but it's not necessarily tired in the sense that like this writing sucked or that I was like burnt out or something from it. It's actually tired in the sense that I'm just like mentally worn out. I definitely did a lot of writing here today, and it was not easy all the time. One thing that I did notice coming back from doing dictation and just writing normally is that I do feel more of the internal editor while I'm writing this way. I thought that I was still experiencing some of it while I was doing dictation, and maybe I was, but I think it's to a greater degree when I'm writing like this. I'm noticing though that the story is actually turning out really short. So I don't know, I'll have to fix that when I go through and do the rereading and all that stuff. But for now, it's the first draft. The whole point is to figure out the story. So I'm just gonna keep rolling through and finish this up. So here I am, ready for the second day. So I was just looking through and I saw that one of the pairs of scenes that I thought was matched together doesn't really belong together. So I have 14 scenes left instead of the 13 that I thought. So we've got some interesting stuff here to do. And a quick update on my back. It does feel a little bit tired from yesterday. To be quite honest, I did spend a lot of time sitting and standing yesterday because I was writing normally and I wrote for like hours. If I really have to, then I'll take some time to dictate today. But I do want to start here with the normal writing. So I already figured out what scenes I'm going to be working on here in this first block. And I'm planning on doing 5 scenes, and then 4 scenes in 3 different blocks. I can take breaks in between each of those for a few hours and ideally lay down for large portions of the break time, which would mean that when I get back, shouldn't be so bad. So I left off yesterday with this chapter. It included multiple scenes from Lucian. It included the backstory scene, this Dark Knight of the Soul Break into 3 combo, and the first of the finale scenes. So I was able to write the backstory scene, but I still have to write these 2. So that's 2 from Lucian. Then I have this one from Ella, and this is just 1 scene. This is just the first finale scene from Ella. And then I have this from Pramana. And this is actually, it's just the first finale scene and the second one, and kind of the very beginning of the third one, but not all the way through the third one. So I might just have this one cut off with like the very beginning of that. So that makes the first 5 scenes that I'm going to be focusing on here, and let's just start with the journaling and then we'll get into some writing. Even though I was planning on avoiding dictation, I think I'm gonna end up using it here today because my back is already feeling a little bit beat up from yesterday, so I don't want to push it too far, especially with a very long flight coming up. I am going to do some dictation. It's gonna require the editing, of course, but you know what? I'll just deal with it when I get there. For now, I've already journaled out all of these scenes and I'm ready to begin, so let's get into it. So I was just writing along and using dictation, and it was going pretty well actually. You notice how fast dictation is when you compare it to normal writing. However, now is the part that I don't necessarily like, the actual editing. And I didn't actually finish all 5 scenes yet. I still have 2 left to go for Pramana, but it's already almost time for breakfast, and I'm actually pretty hungry already, so I decided that I'm just gonna stop here and edit real quick, and then I'll come back and write these last 2 scenes after I finish breakfast. So it is 9:34 and I have managed to get to 79,837 words. So I'm still making good progress. These last few scenes by Pramana were a little bit lengthier. The editing was a little bit of a pain, but I managed to finish it, and now I've finished the first 5 of the scenes for the day. I only have 2 more sessions left to go, and then I will have finished this entire book. So this is cool, man. Also, my back is feeling a little bit better now that I've been doing the dictation for such a long time. I basically was only laying besides doing the editing and eating breakfast. I think I should be fine. I just want to make sure that I'm able to rest as much as possible here for the next few days. So I'm going to continue here with writing some of these last finale scenes. I have a chapter from Lucian, 1 from Ella, and 1 from Pramana here, and each of them is going to be 1 scene, or about 1 scene. There might be some reaction components there, but mostly 1 scene. Then I'm going to write more from Ella, more from Lucian, and more from Pramana. I'm going to be writing these 2 from Pramana, as well as these 2 from Ella and Lucian. And then all I'll have left for the last session is all of these closing images for the others. So let's just get started on some journaling. So it is 6:19 and I have reached 86,334 words. I've made amazing progress finishing every single scene of the finale. However, I still have a few more scenes. I am pretty darn tired, and my back is a little bit tired as well, to be quite honest. I think yesterday I pushed it a little bit too hard. So I wrote almost all of the finale scenes using dictation and laying down on the floor. So I think just resting it will make it feel better again, and that's what I'm planning on doing for the next however many days straight. But for now, I really want to continue with this writing because first of all, this has been a ton of fun. Second of all, I have written like an absolute savage today so far, and I think I just want to cap it off with a little bit more savageness before the end of the day. I've got 3 scenes left, 3 closing images, and let's wrap up this story here. Okay, so it's 7:28 and I have managed to write 87,404 words. And also, today, I wrote a grand total of 11,539 words. And I wrote an average of 1,371 words per hour. Okay, so that was quite a lot, and My back is kind of tired, but I crushed it today, man. That was a lot of fun, actually. Even though it was definitely hard, and getting started once again after finishing that first session, I did not really want to start again because I knew how much I had left, and I was like, oh my god, this is going to be brutal. I have so much time left still. The only thing that's kind of funny is I actually would have had more than 12,000 words for the day, but basically in the last few scenes of the finale and Lucian's story, I had changed things a little bit because it felt a little bit more authentic and kind of like consistent in the story. So I changed some things, but I didn't change the resolution. So when I was taking my notes on it, I was like, oh yeah, this is perfect. And I thought it was all fine. But then I realized that the resolution was impossible given what just happened in the end. So I had spent like, I don't know how many words writing the beginning of it, and then I had to just skip way later down to a part that I was already planning on writing that still worked. So I ended up doing that. Anyway though, I'm quite tired and I need to chill. I wrote for a long time today. And having finished my first draft, I got to take the trip that I'd wanted to go on for years. I had an amazing time and got in some much needed relaxation. And I also got some time away from the first draft of the sequel, and now that I'm back, I can start revising this novel. I'm curious, what's the most intense writing day that you've ever done? Let me know in the comments below. And also, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button so that YouTube knows to share with other writers like you. And if you want to see what it was like the first time I finished an epic fantasy first draft, then check out this video right here next. I'm really tired right now, actually. I'm still a little bit jet lagged, and last night I woke up at like 1 in the morning for no reason. Actually like 12:30.